I'm an official blackguard of hell, but I've somehow transmigrated into a creepy dungeon in the Dragon Kingdom. While everyone else is hiding for their lives, I'm looking at these monsters like they're an all-you-can-eat buffet. Just because I missed my soul harvesting quota, my boss sent me to the human world to investigate some anomalies. A translucent panel suddenly pops up in front of me. Welcome to Sweet Home. Dungeon rank. E number of players, 1. Clear condition. Survive until dawn. Is this a new training system from the Underworld? I mutter, stunned. While thinking, I glance at the panel. Rules of Sweet Home. Rule 1. You must finish every bite of mom's cooking. Rule 2. Dad is working in the study. Be quiet and do not disturb him. Rule 3. Don't get little sister's dolls dirty. My frown deepens, but what I don't realize is that my every move is being broadcast live to a massive audience. A comment flies across the screen. What is he wearing? Is that a cosplay? I gotta say, the outfit looks legit, but the material looks so cheap. Total bargain bin stuff. Sweet Home is a graveyard for newbies. Nobody's beaten it yet. Last time, the player didn't even last an hour before Mom turned him into dinner. But why isn't this new guy scared at all? I bet he won't even survive past dessert. Of course, I can't see any of these comments. I'm busy sensing 3 distinct surges of yin energy. Just then, heavy, shuffling footsteps echo from the kitchen. A woman wearing an apron and covered in grease stains walks out, carrying a tray of bizarre-looking food. Her face is terrifying, a mid-level wild ghost. That's at least 25 performance points, I calculate. I quickly make a professional assessment. Oh, you're awake, come and eat. Mommy made your favorite duck necks. I look down at the tray. Those are clearly rats with their necks snapped. Next to them is a bowl of stew crawling with fat, white maggots. The third dish is fried cockroaches, accompanied by a dark red soup filled with unidentifiable bits. But I'm not disgusted. To me, this looks like a feast of pure yin energy. Every single dish is radiating intense waves of yin energy. As a low-level Underworld employee, my monthly salary is only 30 merit points. That's not even enough to cover my meals. I desperately need a yin energy boost. And these 4 dishes? They're literally made of high-purity, condensed yin energy. My hands are actually shaking with excitement. Sit down, child. Mom places the tray on the table. Her pupil-less, misty gray eyes are fixed on me. You must eat every single bite. You must finish everything Mom cooks. Breaking the rules? I don't need to be told how badly that would end. But to me, this isn't a punishment at all. Thank you, Mom, I say, my voice dripping with genuine gratitude. For the first time, my stiff face shows a flicker of emotion. Meanwhile, the chat goes wild. He thanked her? Is this newbie out of his mind? Lin Feng's entire focus is on the food. He licks his lips in anticipation. I cup the dead rat in both hands, my movements as reverent as if I were holding a sacred relic. I lowered my head and sniffed. A thick wave of necrotic energy surged through my nasal cavity and into my ethereal form. I was so comfortable I almost moaned out loud, then with a crunch, I bit into the rat's head. The sound of the skull cracking was clearly audible. The livestream chat fell silent in an instant. I was completely immersed in the enjoyment of this delicacy. The dense necrotic energy within the rat's skull surged into my ethereal form like a warm current, nourishing my spectral body, which had grown weak from long-term malnourishment. It was somewhat weak, but from the perspective of my mom and the livestream audience, a young man in a strange gray robe was gnawing on a dead rat with a look of pure enjoyment. A satisfied smile playing on his lips. He's making me hungry. Hungry my ass, that's a dead rat. Is this even a horror instance livestream anymore? I'm afraid this isn't a horror stream, it's a mukbang. My mom's smile completely froze on her face. Her eyes were filled with extreme confusion as she just stared intently at me. After I finished the entire plate of rats, I picked up a cockroach and examined it closely. The oil temperature was controlled quite well. Then, with a crunch, I bit off the cockroach's head. After finishing the cockroach, I started on the pot of stew. I used a spoon to scoop up a piece of grayish-white meat, which had 2 fat, white worms stuck to it. Worms. Live worms. He's not going to eat them too, is he? I looked at the wriggling worms in the spoon and hesitated for a moment. I used chopsticks to pick the worms out and placed them on a small side dish by themselves. This necrotic energy is too impure, and its activity is too high. Eating it directly could easily cause fluctuations in my ethereal form. I'll set it aside for a snack later. Then, I put the piece of meat into my mouth. I let out a satisfied sigh. The necrotic energy from the stewed meat was the most gentle, melting the moment it entered my mouth. The necrotic energy flowed through my entire body like a hot spring. I could even feel my early-stage wandering spirit realm beginning to loosen. I devoured the rest of the stew like a whirlwind. Now, all that was left was the final bowl of dark red, thick soup. I picked it up and sniffed it first. The stench was strong, but hidden at the bottom was a sacred underworld item for replenishing the soul, Ghost Cry Vine. Without hesitation, I tilted my head back and gulped it down in one go. The dense necrotic energy was like a volcanic eruption, exploding within my ethereal form. The strength of my ethereal form was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. After I finished the bowl of soup, my realm had already reached the peak of the early stage wandering spirit. I placed the empty bowl on the table, letting out a satisfied sigh and subconsciously rubbing my stomach. I don't know how long it's been since I've eaten so full, just like today. I looked at my mom with an expectant expression. At that moment, the atmosphere suddenly became deathly still. The expression on my mom's face finally shattered completely. The corners of her mouth began to twitch, and her eyes trembled uncontrollably. Her entire spectral form was trembling slightly. There's no more. I stood up and stretched my body a bit. Then, my gaze fell upon my mom. What do you want? My mom's voice was actually trembling. My fingers gently caressed the soul reaping chain at my waist as I slowly began to speak. Since there's no more food, it's time to get to work. Get to work? What work? My mom was stunned. Before she could even finish the word, work, whoosh, a black chain shot out like a venomous snake. The soul reaping chain wrapped precisely around my mom's neck. Mom let out a blood-curdling scream. Her face began to twist and deform, her hands turning into sharp claws. Glowing with a sinister green light, Mom was completely enraged. She ignored the corrosion of the soul reaping chain on her neck and lunged at me with her claws. She was so fast that she left after images in the air. If it were an ordinary player, a single swipe of these claws would have definitely decapitated them. But I'm no ordinary player. I am a professional soul reaper from the underworld. I didn't dodge or evade. I yanked hard with my right hand, and the soul reaping chain went taut. Mom, in mid-lunge, was violently dragged to the ground by the immense force from the chain. Bind, I growled in a low voice. With a flick of my wrist, the soul reaping chain moved like a living thing, instantly trussing Mom up completely. Who are you? What are you going to do to me? Don't be afraid. I'm just preparing to take you to a nice place. I took a palm-sized gray cloth pouch from my waist. The soul-capturing pouch. I untied the mouth of the pouch and aimed it at Mom. Absorb. Mom shrieked in terror. Her monstrous form began to twist and deform. In just 3 seconds, her entire form turned into a puff of black smoke and was sucked into the soul-capturing pouch. I skillfully tightened the red string and stood up, turning my gaze to the closed door on the left. The study. Dad was in there. I stood before the study door and pressed my ear against it. The shuffling sound of writing came from inside. His work must not be disturbed, huh? I recalled the second rule. When Dad is working in the study, you must be quiet and not disturb him. But rules are dead things, and so are ghosts. I took 2 steps back and raised my foot. With a loud crash, he kicked the door in. Didn't the rules say not to disturb Dad's work? This isn't just a disturbance, this is crashing the party. Inside the study, a middle-aged man was sitting behind a desk. The moment the door was kicked open, he clearly flinched, as if he'd been startled. After a full 3 seconds, Dad slowly raised his head. You've disturbed my work. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Could you please cooperate? I've got a quota to meet over here. Dad was stunned. His face was a mask of confusion. He had been in this instance for nearly a year, and never had any player dared to kick down his door, let alone speak to him in such a tone. You're courting death. Dad shot to his feet. The suit on his body began to bulge, and his entire frame swelled up as if being inflated. His hands turned into sharp claws, and his aura surged to that of a late-stage wild fiend. It's over. Dad has revealed his true form. Even with 2D class spectral items, this rookie is useless. In his enraged state, Dad is almost C class. The last time Dad got angry, he tore a player to shreds. The live stream chat was filled with anxiety. But Lin Feng, on the contrary, took a step forward, proactively meeting the transforming Dad. Come on, let me see what you've got. Dad was completely enraged. He let out an inhuman roar, and his whole body turned into a black shadow, pouncing towards Lin Feng. Sharp claws ripped through the air, aiming straight for Lin Feng's throat. Forget a human, a strike like that could tear through a solid steel plate. It's over, it's all over. Actually, this is getting pretty interesting. Wait. Look, at the very second those claws were about to graze Lin Feng's neck. Swoosh, a pitch-black chain whipped out from Lin Feng's hand, lashing accurately toward the father's throat. Sensing the deadly threat radiating from the chain, at the last possible second, he twisted his body midair, barely managing to dodge it. Lin Feng raised an eyebrow, a flash of surprise crossing his eyes. You dodged it? Nice reflexes. Way better than, Mom, over there. You deserve to die. To the father, my words sounded like pure, blatant mockery. The bone-white pen in his hand began to warp and shift. The entire pen transformed into a 1-foot-long bone spike, his signature. Ghostly weapon, the bone pen. This rookie is in real trouble now. AD grade mid-tier ghostly weapon. He used that to pin a player to the wall last time. Gripping the bone pen, the father charged at Lin Feng once more. I didn't move an inch. With a flick of my left hand, a palm-sized copper bell appeared in my grip. The soul-suppressing bell. As he lunged before me, the bone spiked just 6 inches from my heart. I gave the bell a gentle shake. His charging body suddenly jolted to a stop. His movements froze instantly, leaving him paralyzed right where he stood. Works pretty well, I nodded, satisfied. My right hand flicked again, and a 3-foot-long black wooden club appeared. The ghost beating club. I raised it high and slammed it right into his forehead. Bang! A heavy, muffled thud echoed as the father was sent flying, crashing violently into the study wall. He slumped in the corner, his spirit form fading and dimming. His ghostly essence was scattering. I pulled out the soul capture bag. No, he let out one last roar of pure defiance. Then, he dissolved into black smoke and was sucked into the bag. I turned and walked out of the study. I reached the staircase and looked up toward the second floor. There's still a sister left. Well, since I'm already here, might as well wipe out the whole nest. After all, a family ought to stay together, nice and tidy. Lin Feng stepped into the room. The walls were painted a soft pink, decorated with star and moon stickers. Lace curtains hung by the window, though they were now ragged and yellowed with age. A single bed rested against the wall, covered in sheets printed with cartoon bunnies. A few small trinkets sat on the desk, all buried under a layer of dust. But the most striking thing in the room was already covered in dust. And the most conspicuous thing in the room was the stuffed bear on the bed. A brown teddy bear, about half the height of a person. It sat right in the center of the bed, its 2 black glass eyes staring straight at the door. As if watching Lin Feng enter. The bear looked perfectly ordinary. The kind you'd see in any department store. But Lin Feng could feel it. Almost all the ghostly energy in the room was pooling inside that stuffed bear. Was a rich but restrained aura, as if something was deliberately suppressing it. Found you. The smile on Lin Feng's lips widened. He slowly walked towards the bed. His footsteps were very light, but in the silent room, they were exceptionally clear. Tap, tap, tap. With every step he took, the sinister aura in the room fluctuated. The teddy bear sat there quietly, completely still. But Lin Feng could feel that within those glass eyes, a gaze was following his every move. He looked down at the teddy bear. The teddy bear also looked back at him. Their eyes met. The atmosphere was so eerie that the live stream viewers all held their breath. Chat, damn, this scene. Chat, there's definitely something wrong with that teddy bear. Chat, the little sister from Cozy Home. Her true form is the teddy bear, right? I remember the walkthrough said so. Chat, yeah, the sister usually hides inside the teddy bear. She only appears when a player breaks the rules and gets the doll dirty. Chat, so what's the guy in the black robe going to do now? Chat, I don't know, but I have a feeling the sister is in for it. Lin Feng stared at the teddy bear for a full 10 seconds. Then, he reached out his hand. His movements were slow, as if intentionally creating a sense of pressure. His hand landed on the teddy bear's head, and he gave it a little pat. The fluffy texture feels nice. It's pretty cute. He commented, and then his fingers tightened, grabbing the teddy bear's head. And he lifted the entire thing up. The teddy bear dangled in the air, its limbs hanging down, looking innocent and pitiful. Lin Feng carried the teddy bear to the center of the room. Then, he let go. Thud. The teddy bear fell to the floor, rolling twice on the pink carpet. Landing face down, its back turned to Lin Feng. The room was still quiet, but Lin Feng could feel that suppressed sinister aura beginning to stir, as if it had been enraged. Oops, sorry, my hand slipped. Lin Feng apologized without a hint of sincerity. Then he lifted his foot, holding it suspended above the teddy bear. Just an inch from the bear's back. It got dirty. He said softly, a hint of amusement in his voice. There's some dust on the carpet. The bear's back is dirty. Little sister, your doll is dirty now. The moment his words fell, bam! His foot stomped down violently, not on the teddy bear, but on the floor right beside it. The force was so great that the floorboards cracked, but that stomp was like some kind of signal. The sinister aura in the room instantly erupted. The temperature plummeted, and frost began to form on the walls. The pink wallpaper quickly faded and peeled. The teddy bear on the floor began to tremble, not the kind of shaking caused by the wind, but a living, breathing, angry sort of shudder. You! A youthful but chilling voice rang out from the doorway. Dirtied my doll. Lin Feng turned around slowly. At the doorway, a little girl had appeared out of nowhere. She looked about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a filthy white dress. She was barefoot, with her hair falling in a messy, tangled mess over her shoulders. Her face was deathly pale, but her lips were a vivid, blood red. Most striking were her eyes. There was no white in them at all. 2 swirling, pitch-black vortexes filled her sockets. Right now, those 2 vortexes were locked onto Lin Feng, seething with a cold, murderous intent. An eerie grin curled on her lips, stretching so wide it nearly reached her ears. A textbook creepy smile, according to the usual script. She should say, you dirtied my doll. So now, you have to stay, and play with me forever. Then she'd reveal her true form and turn the player into a new doll. She had followed this routine over 20 times and never once failed. But today, when she saw the expression on Lin Feng's face, a smile 10 times creepier than her own, she was completely thrown off. The ghost herself was stunned. Lin Feng turned fully toward her. Facing the little sister, his face wore a look of near ecstasy. That grin was so sinister it made the livestream viewers shiver. Wasn't fear, but excitement, the thrill of a hunter seeing his prey finally emerge. You're finally out. Lin Feng's voice was terrifyingly gentle. Big brother has been waiting for you for so long. Come here, let me get a good look at you. As he spoke, he took a step forward. The girl stared at the smile on his face, at the eerie blue light glowing in his eyes. She looked at the soul-hooking chain and soul-sucking bag swaying at his waist. Her whole body gave an involuntary shudder. This feeling was so familiar. It was just like how she looked at human players. No, this was even worse. How could this human be even more terrifying than a ghost like her? Bullet chat. The sister is shaking. She's actually scared. Bullet chat. A ghost being terrified by a human? What kind of crazy plot is this? Bullet chat. Bet you didn't expect that, little ghost. I'm even weirder than you. Bullet chat. Behold, the biggest victim of Happy Home today. Bullet chat. Poor sister, she's calling for mommy and daddy now. There's a total psycho here. Lin Feng continued walking forward. Closing in step by step, the girl instinctively took a step back. This was the first time since becoming a ghost that she had ever retreated from a human. Why you? Don't come any closer. Her voice was still cold. But if you listened closely, there was a definite tremor in it. If I don't come closer, how can I play with you? Lin Feng's smile didn't waver. His right hand reached for the soul-hooking chain at his waist. Didn't you want Big Brother to play with you? But your brother is very busy. I don't have much time. It's time for Big Brother to go home. The girl's pitch-black pupils suddenly constricted. She felt a lethal threat. This human really was going to kill her. Roar. She no longer hesitated and let out a sharp, piercing screech. Her entire body began to swell and deform, tearing her white dress to shreds. Her skin turned a sickly blue-gray as her nails lengthened and fangs erupted from her mouth. She was going to reveal her true form for one final, desperate struggle. But Lin Feng was even faster. Whoosh. The soul-hooking chain shot out like a bolt of black lightning. Cling. Thud. The ghost-beating stick followed right on its heels. A textbook 3-hit combo, performed with a proficiency that was almost heartbreaking. Before the little sister could even fully transform, she was stunned by the soul-suppressing bell. A single strike from the stick knocked her back to her original form, and then the chain bound her tight. The whole process took less than 3 seconds. By the time the live stream viewers could even react, the sister had reverted to her little girl appearance, tied up like a bundle by the soul-hooking chain. Slumped on the floor and unable to move, within her pitch-black eyes, the emotion of fear appeared for the very first time. There, don't be scared. Lin Feng squatted down and gently patted her head. His tone was tender. Big brother is going to take you to a wonderful place. With that, he pulled out the soul-sucking bag. The sister stared at the bag in sheer terror, desperately trying to back away. As she scrambled back, she stammered, You've broken the rules. Family is supposed to love each other. If you treat me like this, Mom and Dad will. She suddenly cut herself off. Because as Lin Feng opened the bag, she sensed something from within. The aura of her mother and father. What did you do to Mom and Dad? Slumped on the floor, her dark eyes were fixed intently on the bag in Lin Feng's hand, her voice trembling. She could feel the fluctuations of ghostly energy coming from the bag. It was unmistakably her parents' aura, even if it had grown much weaker and was being suppressed by some force. She could never mistake it. They shared the same origin. They were the family she had lived with in this house for nearly a year. And now they were all inside this human's bag. Oh, nothing much. Lin Feng squatted down, that same gentle smile still on his face. The kind of smile that made even spirits shiver. I just invited them to move to a new home. The environment might not be as nice as this place, but it's very quiet. They won't have to worry about players bothering them anymore. What a harvest. He contentedly tucked the soul-sucking bag back onto his belt. The weight on his waist made him feel incredibly happy. It had been 3 years. And he finally understood the joy of a bountiful harvest. The comments section. Comment. The whole family is together now, nice and tidy. 60%. Comment. Black robe bro. I'm the kind of guy who just can't stand to see a family separated. Comment. It's mostly because the bag couldn't hold anything else. Whatever. Next room. Lin Feng walked out of the child's room. He approached the door to the room across the hall. Boom. Another kick. This room looked like the master bedroom. This must be the parents' room. There's a double bed here. 2 nightstands and a large wardrobe. Comment. That look on his face. I have a bad feeling about this. Comment. Sweet home. Please, just spare me already. Chapter 12. Exorcist. 7. Love this home. Lin Feng walks back into the living room. He stands in front of the dining table. 7. Love this. He stares at the empty plates on the table. Then, he does something that leaves the entire livestream stunned. He lifts his leg. Bam! He kicks the dining table right over. The table flies across the room and slams hard against the wall. Plates shatter all over the floor, shards flying in every direction. Silence. A dead, heavy silence. Lin Feng stands his ground, eyes darting around warily. He tries to sense any shift in the dark energy, but there's no change. No reaction at all. He frowns. Comment. But exorcists are so rare these days. Comment. Mostly because the techniques are way too expensive. Even the cheapest one costs over 2,000 ghost coins. Comment. He's just a rookie. How is he already an exorcist? Comment. From the looks of it, he's at least a rank 2 exorcist. Comment. Rank 2? That's impressive even among C-rank players. Comment. They're practically 1 in a million. No wonder he's such a beast. Comment. So he really is an exorcist. Comment. But where did he get his skills? Exorcist techniques are strictly gate-kept by all the major factions. Comment. Like I said, he's definitely a young master from some powerful family. The livestream chat explodes once more. An exorcist. A mysterious and powerful kind of being. Unlike regular players, they don't just rely on cursed items. Instead, they cultivate internal techniques to manifest their own power to fight the supernatural. Players like this are few and far between, and every single one is a prize the major powers fight over. And now, this guy, who's supposed to be a rookie, is showing off the abilities of an exorcist. If word of this gets out, system modules, chat channel, marketplace, system store, stream center, dungeon search. Next mandatory dungeon countdown. 7 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes. Notice. Early entry into dungeons grants bonus rewards. At the very bottom, a line of text flashes. First time clear rewards have been sent to your inventory. Lin Feng's eyes go wide. He can get even more rewards by going into dungeons early? Which means, I don't have to sit around waiting for people to die in the mortal world anymore. I can go straight into the dungeons and hunt ghosts myself. My performance quota. At that thought, Lin Feng starts shaking with pure excitement. 3 years. I've been a total slave in the underworld for 3 whole years. I was stressing myself to death every single day just to meet those targets. But now, a glorious path has opened up right in front of me. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. As long as I keep grinding these dungeons. 7. Love this home. The performance points will just come rolling in. Who cares about being a measly rank 9, class 3 official then? From a rank 9, grade 2, He's jumping straight to a rank 8 soul hooking officer. No, a rank 7 soul hooking colonel. Get promoted, get a raise, marry a rich, beautiful ghost. He's reaching the peak of his afterlife. Lin Feng could almost see a glorious future waving right at him. He forced himself to stay calm despite the excitement. The interface was very simple. Player, Lin Feng, rank, D rank. Ghost coins, 300. Cultivation, stage 2 mid-level exorcist. Equipment, soul hooking chain, D rank low grade. Soul capturing bag, D rank low grade. Soul suppressing bell, D rank low grade. Ghost beating club, D rank low grade. The system even recognized all my gear. It even tagged their ranks. Lin Feng pondered. The Underworld classifies ghost gear as Dharma tools, Dharma treasures, and spiritual tools. But it seems the human world uses letters for ranking. D rank must match a Dharma tool. Then C rank should be a Dharma treasure. As for my cultivation, a stage 2 mid-level exorcist probably matches a wild ghost rank in the Underworld. He clicked on the chat channel. It was split into several sections. World channel, D rank and above only, costs ghost coins to post. Regional channel, Zhangcheng area, free. Dungeon channel, open during missions. Private message channel, right now, the regional channel was buzzing with excitement. Does anyone know what happened with Warm Home? The system just announced an SSS rank clear. For real? Isn't Warm Home a graveyard for newbies? It's absolutely true. I saw it myself in the live stream. That boss in the black robe was a beast. Black robe? You mean the guy in the gray robe? The one with the chains? Yeah, that's the one. That's him. He captured the entire ghost family of 3. He even tore the house down. Holy crap, that's insane. Drop the live stream link. The stream's already over. The dungeon ended, but someone recorded it. It'll probably be posted soon. Is he some young master from a major clan? 4D rank ghost tools and he knows cultivation techniques? He's definitely an exorcist, at least stage 2. Lin Feng was stunned. A stage 2 exorcist? The black robe boss. It sounded like they were talking about him. He opened the live stream center. It was split into live and replays. There were dozens of rooms currently live. Their covers featured all sorts of dark, terrifying scenes. View counts ranged from a few hundred to several thousand. In the replays, the number 1 spot was the Warm Home dungeon. The thumbnail showed the exact moment he kicked down the study door. Views had already topped 10,000 and were climbing fast. Lin Feng clicked on it and realized every single move he made had been recorded. From eating rats and munching on cockroaches to tying up the mother, beating the crap out of the father and scaring the little sister to tears, right down to the final demolition. The comments were flooded. Black robe bro is a legend. Gotta keep the family together. What a warm home indeed. I was terrified back then. I'd recommend the Weird Protection Association. Lin Feng emerged from the passageway, straightening his gray robe. He strode toward the office building. He had to see Commander Wang in his office to submit his mission report and the captured spirits. Commander Wang's full name was Wang Defa. He was an 8th rank soul hooking commander, responsible for the 3 divisions of the 7th section, overseeing their daily management and performance reviews. Whether Lin Feng's performance for the month would count depended entirely on a single word from Commander Wang. Just as he reached the entrance of the office building, he ran right into an acquaintance, Zhao Wumian. Well now, a single wandering soul is only worth 1 performance point. You're still short 29 points this month. Think you're going to make it in time? The sarcasm in his voice was blatant. The other Netherworld agents standing around began to whisper among themselves. Lin Feng caught a spirit? Is that for real? He must have just gotten incredibly lucky. Probably just bumped into a newly dead wandering soul. What good is 1 wandering soul? He's definitely not going to make his quota this month. That's 7 months in a row he's failed to meet the standard. There's no way he'll keep his post. What a shame. It wasn't easy for him to pass the exam to get in, either. As Lin Feng listened to these discussions, his expression remained unchanged. He couldn't be bothered wasting his breath on Zhao Wumian. He walked right past him and knocked on the door to Commander Wang's office. Knock, knock, knock. A deep voice called out from inside. Come in. Just as Lin Feng was about to push the door open, Zhao Wumian beat him to it. The 3 wild ghosts, all captured? Yes, Lin Feng nodded. He took the soul-capturing pouch from his waist and placed it on the desk. They're all in here. Wang Defa stared at the drab, gray soul-capturing pouch, then looked over at Lin Feng. A 9th rank, 3rd class soul-hooking emissary. With the cultivation of an early-stage wild ghost, able to capture 3 of them? What a joke. A single wild ghost is worth at least 10 performance points. 3 of them would be 30 points. Lin Feng has only earned 8 performance points this month. And now he's suddenly got 30 more? Lin Feng. Do you understand the consequences of falsifying your performance report? Wang Defa's expression grew stern. Underworld law states that for those who falsify their reports, the lightest punishment is being stripped of one's post. The most severe is being cast into hell. Did you think you could just catch a few wandering souls and pass them off as wild ghosts? A commander can tell the difference with a single inspection. Lin Feng's expression remained calm. Wang Defa stared at him for a few seconds, then glanced back at the soul-capturing pouch on the desk. Finally, he reached out for the soul-capturing pouch and infused it with his nether energy. The mouth of the pouch opened, and a gust of nether energy flowed out. Wang Defa probed its contents with his spiritual sense, and his face suddenly changed. He sensed 3 distinct waves of nether energy. One was at the mid-stage of a wild ghost, and another at the early stage. And what's more, the 3 energies came from the same source. They were obviously from the same location. It's really 3 wild ghosts. How is this possible? Wang Defa muttered to himself. The way he looked at Lin Feng changed. Zhao Wumian also noticed that something was off. Commander Wang, what's the matter? He asked. Wang Defa didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Lin Feng. These 3 wild ghosts, how did you manage to catch them? Through normal combat. I bound them with the soul hooking chain and collected them with the soul capturing pouch. Lin Feng's answer was airtight, but Wang Defa remained skeptical. But the wild ghosts in the soul capturing pouch couldn't be faked. He was silent for a moment. He took out the performance logbook from his drawer. 3 wild ghosts. 1 mid-stage. He recorded as he calculated. Mid-stage is worth 30 points, late stage is worth 40 points. And early stage is worth 10 points, for a total of 80 performance points. Plus your previous 8, your total for this month is 88 performance points. Plus, let me see. Director Zhao's mission. As he spoke, he took out a small notebook and started flipping through it. Mission manual was written on the cover. Before long, his eyes widened. Chapter 15. Turmoil in the Underworld. Zhao Wumian stood to the side. Seeing Wang Defa's expression, his heart skipped a beat. Section Chief Wang, what's wrong? He moved a little closer, asking tentatively. Wang Defa took a deep breath. His voice trembled slightly. The mission reward is the expungement of 6 months of bad records. Plus, he paused, his gaze toward Lin Feng growing complicated. An additional 100 merit points. Zhao Wumian cried out, his voice cracking. 100 merit points? His monthly salary plus performance commission, even working himself to death, only amounted to about 50 merit points. This Lin Feng just completed a single mission and got 100 merit points. That was more than his income for 2 months. And on top of that, those 3 wild ghosts from earlier. 80 performance points. According to the Underworld's rules, 1 performance point can be exchanged for 1 merit point. That was another 80 merit points. In total, 180 merit points. It would take him, Zhao Wumian, nearly 4 months to earn that much. And more importantly, Zhao Wumian suddenly realized something, and his expression turned even uglier. This month, his performance was at 30 points. He was a shoo-in for the 3rd Division's Top Performer Award. The bonus was at least 20 merit points. But now, Lin Feng suddenly had 80 more performance points. He had completely crushed him. The Top Performer Award was gone. The bonus was gone, too. This made him feel as if his heart was being seared by nether fire. At this point, Wang Defa had also processed everything. He took a few deep breaths, barely suppressing the shock in his heart. The look on his face was a clear signal to him. Don't forget your superior when good things come your way. Understood, sir. He nodded in response. Good, good. Wang Defa nodded with satisfaction, then seemed to remember something else. Oh, right. In dealing with those 3 wild ghosts, I imagine your equipment must have suffered considerable wear and tear, right? Lin Feng immediately put on a troubled expression. Yes, Section Chief. Those 3 wild ghosts were incredibly fierce. The soul hooking chain is cracked, and the soul capturing pouch is also a bit damaged. As you know, the items issued to us 9th rank, 3rd class officers are all low-grade magical artifacts. Their quality was already, he spoke tactfully. But his meaning was clear, the equipment was too poor, and it was affecting his work. Wang Defa waved his hand grandly. That's easy. He turned back to his desk, picked up a pen, and on a slip of paper, quickly scribbled a few lines, then stamped it with his official seal. Here, take this note to the storehouse. He handed the note to Lin Feng. the soul hooking lock, the soul capturing pouch, the soul suppressing bell, and the ghost smiting rod. Take 10 sets of each. If they get worn out, just replace them with new ones. Don't be frugal with them. Lin Feng took the note and glanced down at it. On it was clearly written, today, of the Soul Reaping Division, 7th Section, 3rd Officer, Soul Reaper Lin Feng, due to the loss of spiritual tools in the line of duty, is specially approved to receive 10 sets of the Soul Reaping Kit. Below was Wang Defa's 8th rank Soul Reaping Officer seal. 10 sets. One set has 4 pieces. 10 sets meant 40 low-grade spiritual artifacts. Although in the Underworld, these were just standard issue junk, in the Mortal Realms player system, they were all worth 1,000 ghost coins as D-rank spirit items. Lin Feng suppressed the wild joy in his heart. A look of gratitude appeared on his face. Thank you, officer. Hey, we're all on the same team, why be so polite? Wang Defa patted Lin Feng's shoulder, wearing an expression that said, I have high hopes for you. Keep up the good work. I'll help you apply for 9th rank, 2nd class. Even 1st class isn't out of the question. By then, your salary will double, and you'll get more cultivation resources. Your future is bright. He was starting to make grand promises. Lin Feng nodded repeatedly, putting on a deeply encouraged expression. Beside them, Zhao Wumian's face had already turned as black as the bottom of a pot. He looked at the soul-guiding incense and the approval note in Lin Feng's hand, then thought about how his champion title for the month was gone and his bonus had flown away. A fire of jealousy burned fiercely in his heart. On what grounds? On what grounds could a failure like Lin Feng, who hadn't met his quota for 6 straight months, earn 180 merit points from a single mission? Why was Officer Wang so generous to him? 10 sets of the Soul Reaping Kit and 3 sticks of soul-guiding incense, no less. Zhao Wumian's own performance was so good, yet Officer Wang had only ever rewarded him with a single stick of soul-guiding incense. Officer Wang, Zhao Wumian couldn't help but speak up, his voice tinged with sourness. Lin Feng was just lucky this time and ran into 3 stray ghosts. But stray ghosts aren't that easy to catch for a novice like him. To be able to capture 3 of them, including a late-stage one, if word of this gets out, I'm afraid our other colleagues wouldn't believe it either. The implication in his words was clearly a suspicion that Lin Feng had cheated. Wang Defa frowned. He actually had some doubts himself, but the stray ghosts in the soul-capturing pouch couldn't be faked. Director Zhao's mission couldn't be faked either. Wumian. Wang Defa's tone became a little colder. The rules of the Underworld are based on facts. Lin Feng submitted 3 stray ghosts. That is the fact. As for how he caught them, that's his own ability. Our 3rd section has produced a talent. You should be happy about it. These words sounded noble and grand, but they clearly showed favoritism towards Lin Feng. Zhao Wumian's expression turned even uglier. He gritted his teeth. What else is there to say? In the end, he swallowed his words. Si Wei was right. He forced a faint smile. I spoke out of turn. Lin Feng watched coldly, sneering to himself. This Zhao Wumian used to give him a hard time quite often. Now that he sees him rising to the top, he's feeling bitter and resentful. But it doesn't matter. 60%. He has merit points now. 60%. Next, he impatiently pulled out his token. Sending his consciousness inside, he stared at the balance of 210 merit points. He grinned. It's been 3 years. His account never had more than 50 merit points, but today, he finally broke the 200 mark. First, let's study the system, Lin Feng thought, sitting cross-legged on the bed of resentment. I need to save some points to buy more suitable cultivation resources. Or maybe get some better gear. After all, the next one is a D-grade dungeon. I might encounter a C-grade horror. Specifically, a resentful ghost. At that thought, Lin Feng's expression turned grim. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. He's currently at the mid-stage of the wild ghost realm. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. Combined with 4 low-grade artifacts. 7. Love this home. As for dealing with a peak-stage wild ghost, it would be no problem, but against a resentful ghost. Truthfully, according to the Underworld standards, an early-stage resentful ghost requires at least 3 peak-stage wild ghost soul reapers working together to handle. His chances of winning alone aren't high, he needs to boost his strength. I also need better equipment. Lin Feng rubbed his chin. His eyes fell on the cloth bag on the floor. 10 soul reaper sets, 40 low-grade artifacts. His eyes lit up. These things are trash in the Underworld, but in the system of the living world, they are all D-grade ghost tools. A single low-grade D-grade ghost tool is worth at least 1,000 ghost coins. If I sell these. Lin Feng's breathing grew heavy. He quickly opened the system. Tapped into the trading market. 60%. The trading market was divided into a buying area and a selling area. Lin Feng clicked on the selling area. Selected, post item, item name, soul locking chain. Grade, D grade low tier. Description, a special chain type ghost tool. Extremely effective against spectral type horrors. Once bound, it's hard to escape. Price, 1000 ghost coins. After posting the soul locking chain. He also posted the soul sucking bag, the soul suppressing bell, and the ghost beating baton. Then, after thinking for a moment, Lin Feng took out 9 more sets and listed them as well. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this. Anyway, Commissioner Wong approved 10 new sets. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this. Keeping 1 set for spare is enough for him. He listed everything on the trading market for a total price of 40,000 ghost coins. After posting the items, Lin Feng waited nervously. He didn't know how popular this gear would be among the players. But very soon. He didn't have to worry anymore, because the trading market absolutely exploded. Regional channel, holy crap. A huge number of D-rank cursed tools appeared on the trading market? For real? Aren't D-rank cursed tools only sold in the store? And they're crazy expensive. It's true, soul hooking locks, soul capturing pouches. Soul suppressing bells, ghost beating rods, all of them D-rank, low grade. Only 1000 cursed coins each. Cheaper than the store. Whoa, who was so fast? I just saw them and they're already gone. 40 D-rank cursed tools. Sold out in 3 minutes. That kind of purchasing power is terrifying. Who is that anonymous seller, to be able to pull out 40 D-rank cursed tools at once? Definitely not an ordinary player. Could it be that black-robed big shot from the cozy home? It's possible. He showed off 4 D-rank cursed tools back then. Maybe he's backed by a power that can create cursed tools. Begging for the big shot's contact info. I want to custom order a cursed tool. Same here. Lin Feng read these discussions with a non-committal expression. However, the title, Black-Robed Big Shot, made him not know whether to laugh or cry. In the Underworld, he was an insignificant nobody at the bottom of the performance list, but in the mortal realm, he had become a mysterious big shot. What a contrast. Oh well, I'll focus on increasing my strength first. Lin Feng muttered and took out a stack of cursed coins. He began to cultivate. Chapter 17, Breakthrough to Late-Stage Wild Ghost. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on the bed of resentment. In front of him was a bag of cursed coins he had taken from the system earlier. Netherworld art circulated slowly within his body, as pure yin energy flowed out from the cursed coins. Like a trickling stream, it converged into the core of his soul body. He could clearly feel that the barrier to the mid-stage wild ghost level was loosening. A faint, almost inaudible sound echoed from the depths of his soul body. Lin Feng's whole body trembled. The dark blue light around him suddenly brightened, illuminating the entire dim little cabin. It's too expensive, even the cheapest breath-concealing art. A fragment of it costs 5,000 cursed coins, and it can only hide one small realm. Plus, the duration is only 6 hours. He needed a method that could hide his cultivation level long-term. He checked the magic treasure section again. This time, even more items popped up. Breath-concealing jade pendant, D rank, low grade. When worn, it can hide one small realm of cultivation. Continuously effective. Price, 3,000 cursed coins. Spirit hiding cloak, D rank, mid grade. When worn, it can hide one large realm of cultivation. Continuously effective. Price, 8,000 cursed coins. Shape-shifting mask, C rank, low grade. Can change one's appearance and hide 2 large realms of cultivation. Continuously effective. Price, 20,000 cursed coins. The prices were still quite steep. But they were more practical than the skill, as they were at least continuously effective. Lin Feng looked at his cursed coin balance, 3,700. He could afford it, but he hesitated. To spend several thousand or even tens of thousands of cursed coins, 60%. Just to hide his cultivation level felt like a bit of a waste. If these cursed coins were used for cultivation, it would be enough for me to break through to the vengeful ghost stage. And besides, I'm just a nobody in the underworld. No one would usually go out of their way to check my cultivation level. As long as I don't proactively reveal it, it probably won't be a big deal. Thinking of this, Lin Feng temporarily gave up on the idea of buying a magic treasure to hide his cultivation. He decided to first use the most basic method of suppression. There was a fundamental technique in the Netherworld art. It's called yin energy concealment. It can temporarily seal a portion of one's cultivation deep within the soul body, only revealing the surface level realm. Although it couldn't deceive the careful inspection of a true expert, it's enough to handle everyday situations. Just like that, Lin Feng activated the technique, suppressing the cultivation level he had just broken through. The aura around him dropped from the late wild ghost stage to the middle stage, and then from the middle stage to the peak of the initial stage. He looked as if he had just recently broken through to the initial wild ghost stage, just one step away from the middle stage. Lin Feng skillfully made his way to a stall. The owner was a female ghost wearing a black veil. Her figure was slender, but she emanated a dense, resentful energy. She was at least at the resentful ghost level. "What are you looking for?" The female ghost's voice was hoarse. Lin Feng pointed at a ring on her stall. "This yin storing ring. How much is it?" The ring was pitch black all over, its surface engraved with intricate runes. "It's a magical artifact specifically used for storing items. With it, going out in the future would be much more convenient." The female ghost glanced up at him. 10 merit points. "I don't accept yin coins." Lin Feng stood before the ghost market stall, looking at the yin storing ring, quickly calculating in his mind. Yin coins were the main currency in the capital city of Yan, issued by the Underworld Bank. They could only be used to purchase items, not for absorption during cultivation. Moreover, due to inflation, they had severely depreciated in value. It was understandable that she wouldn't accept them. As for 10 merit points, that was equivalent to his commission for turning in a single wild ghost. Was it expensive? Very expensive. The merit income of Underworld civil servants mainly relied on performance commissions. For a 9th rank soul reaper like him, saving up 50 merit points in a year was considered quite good. But Lin Feng still nodded. "Deal." He transferred 10 merit points from his soul reaper token. The number on the back of the token changed from 188 to 178. A flash of surprise appeared in the female ghost's eyes. She had originally thought this minor soul reaper, dressed in a standard black robe with an aura only at the late wild ghost stage, would try to haggle. She hadn't expected him to be so direct and decisive. The female ghost accepted the merit points and handed the yin storing ring to Lin Feng. "You can bind it with a drop of blood or refine it with your yin energy. Either way works. The internal space is 10 cubic meters, enough to hold plenty of your things. It can also nourish souls. If you put the wild ghosts you capture inside, the rate of their yin energy loss will slow by 70%. Lin Feng took the ring. It was cold to the touch. The runes on its surface shimmered faintly in the dim light. He bit the tip of his finger and squeezed out a drop of yin blood onto it. Buzz! The ring trembled. It transformed into a black streak of light and slipped onto the ring finger of his left hand. With a thought, Lin Feng saw the space inside the ring. It was a gray, hazy space of about 10 cubic meters. A thin mist flowed along the edges. It was indeed enough space. He transferred the entire ghost catching kit from the soul capturing pouch at his waist into it. He then tested storing and retrieving items. With a single thought, a soul reaping chain appeared in his hand. With another thought, it was put away again. Convenient. Lin Feng nodded in satisfaction. He turned and left the stall, continuing to wander through the ghost market. There were many stalls, selling all sorts of strange things. Pure Granny Meng's soup concentrate. Drink it and forget the troubles of your past life. Only 5 merit points. A replica of the judge's brush. The characters you write will carry the judge's authority. Specialized for scaring wandering souls, 30 merit points. A fragment from the impermanence soul reaping chain, a material for artifact refinement. 80 merit points, no bargaining. The latest model smartphone, burned over from the mortal world. Already enabled for underworld roaming. Supports 8G network, 20 merit points. Lin Feng stopped in front of an old Taoist priest stall. The priest was wearing a tattered robe, his hair and beard were all white. But his eyes were sharp as a hawk's. He was fiddling with a compass in his hand. The stall was simple, just a piece of yellow cloth. On it were 3 items, a rusty copper coin, a paper talisman with dried cinnabar, and a bagua compass, palm-sized and pitch black all over. The yin-yang fish in the center was slowly rotating. Lin Feng's gaze fell on the compass. He could feel that this thing was no simple item. "Fellow Taoist, you have a good eye." The old priest looked up, smiling at Lin Feng. From the authentic Mao Shan lineage, a low-grade magic treasure, the ghost-pinning bagua compass. It can detect ghostly and yin energy within a 3-mile radius, and it can also immobilize a resentful ghost for 3 breaths. "How much?" Lin Feng asked directly. The old priest held up 4 fingers. 40 merit points, a fixed price. Lin Feng frowned. He only had 178 merit points left. But he remembered being in the instance dungeon before, when he encountered that ghost sister at her peak. If he hadn't had the soul-suppressing bell, It would have been quite troublesome. And this ghost pinning Bagu a compass, from its description, sounds more practical than the soul-suppressing bell. Detection, immobilization, both are excellent tools for boosting performance. Can I try it out? Lin Feng asked. The old priest chuckled. Fellow Taoist, you must be joking. How can a magic treasure be tried out? However, he looked around and lowered his voice. I can see you're from the soul reaping division. You should know your stuff. How about this? I'll tell you a hidden function of this compass. What is it? It can distinguish between wild anomalies and artificially refined ones, the old priest said mysteriously. Haven't a lot of man-made anomalies appeared in the mortal world recently? Some evil cultivators use living people to refine ghosts. That kind of ghost has impure yin energy, but its baleful aura is extremely strong. Ordinary detection methods can't tell them apart, but this compass can. For pure yin energy, the pointer spins in a white circle. For a heavy baleful aura, it spins in a red circle. A thought sparked in Lin Feng's mind. This function is useful. So this world where the anomaly dungeons descend is a parallel world highly similar to the mortal world. I know, the underworld can't detect it. Because this world isn't under the jurisdiction of our underworld at all. The more Lin Feng thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed. Otherwise, there's no way to explain why the items in the system store. The ghost coins, the cultivation techniques, the underworld has no record of any of them. Nor can it explain why the humans of this world can watch the dungeons through live streams. That technology would be considered advanced even in the underworld. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Lin Feng stood up and stretched lazily. I should let my soul body out. No, I'll wait until I'm a bit stronger. At least until the resentful ghost stage. Then I'll consider making contact. Lin Feng made up his mind. He was currently in the late wild ghost stage. By suppressing his power to the peak of the early wild ghost stage, he'd be relatively safe in the underworld. If anyone discovered that he could travel to other worlds to catch ghosts, and even get massive amounts of ghost coins to raise his cultivation level, an innocent man gets into trouble for the treasure he carries. The waters of the underworld run deep. Ding dong, a system notification sound chimed. Lin Feng opened it. It was another private message. From Black Robe of the Shadow Hall, we know you have a source for a large quantity of ghost artifacts. Cooperate with us. We provide the materials, you create the ghost artifacts, and we'll split the profits 50-50. Refuse, and you make an enemy of the Shadow Hall. The tone was harsh, carrying a clear threat. Lin Feng frowned. Shadow Hall, he had read about them in the archives. One of the 3 great dark guilds in the player world. They were known for being ruthless and stopping at nothing. Their guild master was rumored to be an S-rank player, but their true identity was unknown. And they controlled access to several major dungeons. Now they were threatening him. Lin Feng let out a cold laugh. He'd been knocking around the underworld for 3 years. Even though his performance was at the bottom of the ranks, he'd still seen plenty of serious stuff. He'd seen the fury of the judges, the impermanence demons reaping souls, and the phantom armies marching by. And some player guild thought they could threaten an official soul reaper of the underworld? He ignored it. Lin Feng blocked them immediately. After dealing with those trivial matters, Lin Feng checked the time. The 3rd quarter hour of Z. It was time to enter the dungeon. Countdown to the next mandatory dungeon. 3 days, 12 hours, and 45 minutes. But he didn't plan to wait for the mandatory dungeon prompt. The system had clearly stated that entering a dungeon early and voluntarily would grant an extra reward bonus. Besides, Lin Feng desperately needed to improve his performance. In the underworld. As long as your performance is high, you're the one in charge. Even your superiors have to treat you like a king. Chapter 20. The Abandoned Hospital. The night wind howled. In the eastern suburbs of Zhangcheng. Lin Feng stood amidst the crumbling ruins of a cluster of abandoned, overgrown buildings. After confirming that no one was around, with a single thought. He summoned the system panel. Enter dungeon ahead of schedule? A prompt appeared. Entering early will grant an additional reward bonus. However, the dungeon's difficulty will remain unchanged. Please choose with caution. Without a moment's hesitation, Lin Feng selected, yes. His figure began to fade. He dissolved into specks of faint light that vanished into the darkness. A bone-chilling cold, and the pungent smell of disinfectant mixed with mildew washed over him as Lin Feng opened his eyes. He found himself standing before an old, 5-story building. The building's architecture was from the 1970s or 80s, its grayish-white outer walls mottled and peeling. It revealed the dark red bricks underneath. Most of the windows were shattered. Resembling hollow eye sockets, they looked eerie in the pale moonlight. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this. The sign above the main entrance was hanging crookedly. 7. Love this home. You could faintly make out the 4 faded red words, Benevolent Heart Hospital. The iron gate at the hospital entrance was covered in rust, standing half open. Inside, it was pitch black, like a gaping mouth ready to devour anyone who entered. Instance name, Abandoned Hospital. Difficulty, D+. Number of players, 5. Recommended player level, D rank. Background. This city was once home to a renowned private hospital. 3 years ago, a massive fire killed nearly 100 people. The hospital has been abandoned ever since. But at the stroke of midnight, you can always hear the wails of patients and the sound of surgeons' scalpels. Main quest, survive until dawn. Hidden quest, unknown, we wish you a pleasant visit. Lin Feng had just finished reading the panel when 4 figures appeared one after another beside him. 60%, a short scream. A girl with her hair in a ponytail appeared to Lin Feng's left. She looked to be in her early 20s, wearing a white t-shirt and jeans. Her face was filled with panic. Her name was Su Xiaowen. 4. Do not go to the 3rd floor to disturb the director. The on-duty nurse's cart must not be touched. 6. Live comments. He's a sitting duck, in the live stream. The audience was going wild. Live comments, holy crap. The guy in the black robe actually went in. Live comments, that's room 103. 7. Love this family. 7. Love this family. The last player who went in by mistake. 7. Love this family. 7. Love this family was torn to shreds by 3 ghouls. Ruin now. Live comments. Run. Ruin. What are you standing there frozen for? Live comments. Where are Zhang Meng and his crew? Why haven't they shown up yet? Live comments. It's over. It's over. The guy in the black robe is a goner. Live comments. You all must have never seen the Black Robe Master's previous videos, have you? This is a badass who can easily subdue 3D rank ghouls. You think he's gonna be bothered by a mere 3E rank ones? Live comments. Yeah, the ones who should be worried now are those ghouls. Live comments. A moment of silence for the 3 ghouls. Live comments. Run, ghouls, run. The ghoul collector is here to get you. Lin Feng looked at the 3 ghouls closing in on him, the look of disgust on his face deepening. Their yin energy is so impure, and their spiritual forms are weak. Their lingering attachments from death aren't even strong, he commented, like someone picking out pork at the market. Oh well, even a mosquito's leg is still meat. The moment he finished speaking, Lin Feng moved, not to retreat, but to charge forward. His right hand flashed to his waist, and a 3-foot-long black wooden rod appeared in his hand. The ghost-slaying rod. Before the old man ghoul could even react, Lin Feng was already in its face, smashing the rod down. Whack! A dull thud echoed through the ward. 7. Love this family. The old man ghoul's head was caved in. 7. Love this family. Its spiritual form trembled violently. It flew backward with a piercing shriek, slamming into the wall. It dissolved into a thin cloud of gray mist, temporarily immobilized. Live comments. Live comments. What just happened? Comment. He attacked first. Comment. Holy crap, what kind of move is that? The middle-aged woman and the child ghost were both stunned. This isn't how it's supposed to go. Shouldn't the human be screaming and running away while they surround and hunt them down? And then they get to enjoy the pleasure of torture and murder? Why is this human more aggressive than they are? What are you standing around for? Get him together, the middle-aged woman shrieked. Her neck suddenly stretched, and her head shot towards Lin Feng like a cannonball, opening its bloody maw wide. The child ghost, meanwhile, dropped to the ground. It scurried on all fours at an incredible speed, its damp hands grabbing for Lin Feng's ankle. Lin Feng didn't even glance at the child. He lifted his left foot and brought it down on the child ghost's back. Splat! The child ghost was smashed flat against the ground, splashing water everywhere. It struggled but couldn't get up. At the same time, Lin Feng swung the ghost smiting rod in his right hand, accurately striking the middle-aged woman's flying head. Smack! Just like hitting a baseball. The head was sent flying, smashing against the ceiling. It then bounced onto the floor, rolling several times before stopping. Its neck was still attached to its body, but it was now twisted like a pretzel. Comment. 7. Love this family. Comment. 7. Love this. The middle-aged woman let out a blood-curdling scream. Comment. 7. Love this family. Her spiritual body faded rapidly. Comment. 7. Love this family. Comment. 7. Love this family. Lin Feng's movements didn't stop. Comment. 7. Love this family. He approached the gray mist that the old man ghost had turned into, and with his left hand, he flipped over the soul-capturing bag. He aimed the opening of the bag, and a suction force surged out. No. The old man's terrified roar came from within the gray mist, but he was powerless to resist. He was sucked into the bag. Next was the middle-aged woman. Finally, the child. The entire process took less than 10 seconds. 3 wandering class ghosts were packed up and taken away without even putting up a decent fight. Lin Feng tied the soul-capturing bag shut. Too weak. That doesn't even count as a warm-up. He turned, walked out of the hospital room, and gently closed the door. Comments. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Comment. 3 ghosts, dealt with in 10 seconds? Comment. What kind of cursed item is that black rod? The damage is so high. Comment. AD rank cursed item, the ghost smiting rod. A top player was selling them before. They were sold out in an instant. Comment. So the guy in the black robe didn't go into the room to hide, but to catch ghosts? Comment. What the hell kind of play is that? Comment. A player catching ghosts? That's unheard of. Comment. I think he did the same thing in A Cozy Home. Comment. A madman, he's definitely a madman. Chapter 23. Is this still a ghost instance? Just as Lin Feng walked out of room 103, he saw them at the other end of the hallway. Zhang Meng's group of 4 was cautiously making their way over. Zhang Meng took the lead, and Lei Zhen covered the rear. Su Xiaowen and Huang Chang were in the middle. The 4 of them were pressed tightly against the wall. His footsteps were as light as a cat's. Seeing Lin Feng come out of the ward, the 4 of them were stunned. You're still alive? Su Xiaowen covered her mouth, her eyes as wide as saucers. Huang Chang looked Lin Feng up and down, seeing he didn't even have a speck of dust on him. He was even more surprised. Buddy. Did you just go into that ward? Lin Feng nodded. Yeah, I went in. Inside there. Lei Zhen's voice was low. Were there any specters? There were, Lin Feng said casually. 3 of them. The faces of the 4 changed in unison. Zhang Meng quickly stepped forward, scolding in a hushed tone. Are you crazy? Do you think you can just walk into any ward in this hospital instance? Every single one of these wards could be hiding a specter. Some even have more than one. They aren't supposed to be able to get out. But if someone goes in and disturbs them, they can break free from the rules and leave the room. Barging in like that will get everyone killed. Lin Feng blinked. Then he turned around and pushed open the door to the adjacent ward, 104. Asterisk creak. Zhang Meng's face instantly turned ashen. Su Xiaowen shrank back in fear. Huang Chang swallowed hard. Is there something wrong with this guy's head? Lei Zhen tightened his grip on the short blade hidden in his sleeve. Ready to fight at any moment, they all thought. Lin Feng was a dead man this time. Eerie whispers came from inside the ward. A chilling aura seeped out from under the door, and the temperature in the hallway plummeted. Then came a series of wails and howls. Ah! Spare me, no. Not there. The blood-curdling screams made their scalps tingle. Zhang Meng took a deep breath and said to the 3 behind him. Prepare for battle, if a specter charges out. Before he could finish his sentence, the ward door opened. Lin Feng poked his head out, his face still expressionless. Only the soul-capturing pouch at his waist seemed a little fuller. He looked at Zhang Meng and said very seriously, thanks for the reminder. There was indeed more than one in there. There were 4 of them. But they've been taken care of. With that, he turned and walked towards Ward 105. Zhang Meng, Su Xiaowen, Huang Chang, and Lei Zhen stood rooted to the spot, completely dumbfounded, watching as Lin Feng pushed open the door to Ward 105 and walked in. Then, another round of wails and howls erupted from inside. Stream comment, LMAO. Stream comment, I screenshotted Zhang Meng's face. Stream comment, on the tree of what the fuck grows the fruit of what the fuck. Stream comment, and under that tree are you and me. Stream comment, the black-robed bro, thanks for the reminder. Stream comment, there were indeed specters inside. I've already taken care of them. Comment, Zhang Meng. Is that what I meant? Comment, so the guy in the black robe is actually sweeping through the supernatural entities? Comment, a player clearing out a supernatural dungeon? What kind of insane plot is this? Comment, if I remember correctly, the mission for this dungeon is survival, right? Why does it feel like he turned it into exploration plus monster farming? 1 minute later. Lin Feng stepped out of Ward 105, his soul-snatching bag bulging even more. He glanced at the 4 people standing there in a daze and paused to think. Comment, the whole vibe of this dungeon has completely shifted. Comment, it went from horror survival to hack and slash god mode. Comment, The other players are trembling in fear while Black Robe is happily farming points. Comment, I suspect he didn't come here to beat the game at all. He's here to stock up. Comment, Zhang Meng, didn't we agree to just hide together until dawn? The ghost beating staff smashed down. You're okay? He looked at the bear trap flying toward him, then at the supernatural security guard. A smirk played on his lips. I didn't expect someone would actually deliver themselves to me. Chapter 26. Let me level up first. Clatter. A bear trap as big as a wash basin tore through the air, whistling shrilly as it shot straight toward Lin Feng's face. Its iron teeth glinted coldly, with bits of shredded meat still dripping dark red liquid. The heavy stench of blood hit him full in the face. Watch out. Zhang Meng shouted urgently, a short blade sliding from his sleeve as he prepared to rush forward. Su Xiaowen covered her eyes in terror, while Huang Chang's legs turned to jelly. He nearly collapsed to the ground. Meanwhile, Lei Zhen's muscles tensed up, ready to lunge for a rescue. However, Lin Feng stood his ground, without moving even a single inch. He simply raised his right hand, fingers spread wide. Aiming at the incoming bear trap, he uttered, freeze. A single, effortless word. It wasn't an incantation, nor was it a skill. It was a pure command. In the next second, something bizarre happened. The high-speed bear trap actually screeched to a halt in midair, as if slamming into an invisible wall. It stopped dead 3 feet in front of Lin Feng, the iron teeth less than an inch away from the tip of his nose. The bear trap vibrated slightly. The chain pulled taut, letting out a strained, creaking groan. In the ghost security guard's normal left eye, a look of stunned shock appeared for the very first time. He barely managed to get a word out. Lin Feng moved. He didn't retreat. Instead, he took a step forward, his left hand lashing out like a bolt of lightning. He accurately snatched the iron chain of the bear trap and gave it a violent yank. Get over here. Caught off guard, the supernatural guard was pulled right off his feet by the massive force, flying straight toward Lin Feng. You're dead, the supernatural guard roared. He swung the pitch-black baton in his right hand, creating a piercing whistle through the air. As he aimed for Lin Feng's head, if this strike landed, never mind a head, it could smash right through a steel plate. But Lin Feng didn't dodge or evade, he simply raised his left hand. Clang! The deafening sound of metal striking metal echoed through the hallway. The ghostly guard's baton smashed solidly against a black chain that had suddenly appeared. The soul hooking chain. At some point, Lin Feng had already taken out the soul hooking chain, its links wrapped several times around his left forearm. He had blocked the blowhead on. Sparks flew. The ghostly guard's pupils constricted. He could feel it. The force of the impact reverberated up the baton, making the web of his hand go numb. What was even more terrifying were the ethereal blue runes that lit up on the black chain. They were frantically corroding his ghostly energy. This was a supernatural weapon made specifically to counter spirits. Alarm bells screamed in the ghostly guard's mind. He tried to pull back and retreat. But it was too late. Lin Feng's ghost slaying rod was already swinging horizontally towards him. Thwack! The rod slammed into the ghostly guard's side. The sound of ribs cracking was clearly audible. The ghostly guard screamed as he was sent flying backward. He crashed into the hallway wall, which spider-webbed with cracks from the impact. He struggled to get up, but Lin Feng had already closed the distance, moving like a shadow. Jingle! The soul-suppressing bell chimed softly. The ghostly guard's movements froze. In that brief moment of hesitation, the soul-hooking chain shot out like a nimble snake, trussing him up tightly. Let me go, I'm the hospital security guard. You're violating hospital rules, the ghostly guard roared, struggling. But the more he struggled, the tighter the chain pulled, the runes light frantically corroding his spiritual form. Lin Feng crouched down, looked at him, and asked very seriously. Where is your director? The ghostly guard was stunned. The director? What do you want with the director? 7. Love this home, Lin Feng said in a flat tone. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this. His employees are running all over the place, disrupting the hospital's order. I think he needs to improve his management. The ghostly guard, he still hadn't processed what those words meant. Lin Feng had already taken out his soul-capturing pouch. He aimed its opening, and a suction force surged out. No, amidst a blood-curdling scream. The ghostly guard turned into black smoke and was sucked into the pouch. Lin Feng tied it shut. Peak D class, equivalent to a peak-level wild ghost. Let's call it 50 performance points. He nodded in satisfaction and hung the soul-capturing pouch back on his belt. The entire process, from the guard's appearance to his capture, took less than a minute. In the hallway, There was a deathly silence. Zhang Meng's hand, gripping his short knife, was frozen in midair. If we actively go looking, the rules. Lin Feng smiled. Those are made for people who follow the rules. I don't need to follow them. He turned and walked towards the stairs. After taking 2 steps, he stopped again. He looked back at the 4 of them. Are you coming? The 4 of them looked at each other. Go with him? The second floor is obviously more dangerous than the first. Don't go. Although the first floor had been cleared by Lin Feng, the moment he stepped into the second floor hallway, Lin Feng came to a sudden halt, and the 4 people behind him nearly crashed into one another. What's wrong? Zhang Meng asked, scanning the surroundings with a wary gaze. Lin Feng didn't say a word, he simply raised his right hand. A phantom image of the ghost ceiling compass appeared in his palm, its needle trembling violently. Pointed toward the depths of the corridor, where the ghostly energy was far more intense than on the first floor. A flicker of excitement flashed in Lin Feng's eyes. Looks like there's some high-quality loot on the second floor. No sooner had he spoken than a faint, ethereal song drifted from deep within the hallway. It was mournful and full of grief, sounding like a woman softly weeping in song. The singing drifted in and out, feeling distant one moment and right next to them the next. It was as if it were being whispered directly into their ears, yet also coming from miles away. It's the song of the woman in red, Su Xiaowen stammered, her face turning deathly pale. Her voice shook as she added, the strategy guide says that hearing the song means the woman in red is nearby. We have to turn back and leave immediately. We have to pretend we didn't hear it. Lin Feng cocked an eyebrow. Not only did he not turn around, he actually started walking toward the source of the singing. Lin, the rules say. I know the rules, Lin Feng replied, not even bothering to look back. But I really want to see what she looks like. The other 4 looked at each other, gritted their teeth, and followed him. They ventured deep into the corridor, which seemed to stretch on forever. Both sides were lined with various treatment rooms and offices, and the singing grew clearer with every step. It was coming from the very last room, the OBGYN clinic. A faint, crimson light leaked through the crack in the door. Lin Feng reached the door and pushed it open without a moment's hesitation. Inside the clinic, a woman in a blood-red gown stood by the window with her back to the door. She had a slender, elegant figure, with hair that cascaded down to her waist. She was humming softly. The crescent moon shines over the 9 provinces, joy for some, and sorrow for many. The melody was hauntingly beautiful, but in this macabre environment, it was utterly bone-chilling. At the sound of the door opening, the singing cut off abruptly. The woman in red slowly turned around, revealing a face that was pale yet exquisitely beautiful. Her features were perfect, but her eyes were entirely pitch black. There were no whites in her eyes, and a twisted, eerie smile played on her lips. Fresh blood dripped from the corners of her mouth, staining the front of her dress a deep crimson. New patients, the woman in red spoke. Her voice was ethereal but carried a deadly chill. The OBGYN clinic doesn't accept male guests, you know. She tilted her head, her void-like eyes locking onto Lin Feng. But since you've come all this way, why don't you stay and keep me company? As her words fell, her red dress fluttered despite the lack of wind. Her long hair erupted in growth, surging toward Lin Feng like a swarm of countless black venomous snakes. Silence returned to the clinic. He spoke. He asked cautiously, so, a small breakthrough? Lin Feng said nonchalantly, my condition has stabilized quite well. Time to get back to work. I'm betting on the black-robed boss to win. Those cursed artifacts of his are just too insane. Place your bets, place your bets. I bet the master in the black robe takes care of the dean in under 10 minutes. The person above me is giving the dean too much credit. I bet 5 minutes. Lin Feng didn't push the door open right away. In the palm of his right hand, the spectral image of the ghost pinning bagua plate appeared, its yin-yang fish spinning frantically. The needle pointed steadfastly at that mahogany door, its color a deep red. Concentration. Early stage vengeful ghost, but the purity of its yin energy is extremely high. Close to 97%. This is definitely a tough one. But Lin Feng's eyes grew even brighter. An early stage vengeful ghost, with 97% yin energy purity. He turned to look at the 4 of them. You all, step back. Go to the top of the stairs. Lei Zhen frowned. Mr. Lin, we can help. No need. Lin Feng shook his head, his tone serious. A vengeful ghost and a wild ghost are on completely different levels. If you stay here, not only will you be no help, you might even get hurt by the shockwaves from the fight. He paused. And added, besides, I need space to work. Let's do as Mr. Lin says. Lei Zhen took a deep breath. and pulled Su Xiaowen back. Huang Chang looked as if he'd been granted a pardon, and quickly ran back. Zhang Meng hesitated for a moment, then also retreated to the top of the stairs, even though he had a poisonous scalpel when facing a vengeful ghost. The blade was no different from a toy. The four of them retreated to a safe distance, watching Lin Feng nervously. Lin Feng then turned around to face the mahogany door. He didn't push it open immediately. Instead, from his yin-absorbing ring, he took out 10 soul-hooking chains. 10 pitch-black chains floated around him, slithering slowly as if they were alive. Then, he took out the ghost-pinning bagua plate. The palm-sized black compass floated in his left palm, its yin-yang fish slowly rotating, emitting a profound, ancient aura. Finally, he untied the replica soul-suppressing bell from his waist and hung it on his right wrist. With so many magical artifacts, this should be enough, Lin Feng muttered to himself, then lifted his foot. Bang! The mahogany door was kicked wide open. The scene inside came into view. The office was very large. About 50 square meters, decorated in an old-school, luxurious style with solid wood bookshelves, a leather sofa, and a mahogany desk. The oil paintings, however, depicted various human anatomical charts, rendered in gloomy colors. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. She looked to be in her early 30s. Dressed in a white lab coat. Underneath was a form-fitting black dress. Her long hair was tied in a bun, revealing a section of her fair neck. She wore gold-rimmed glasses. The eyes behind the lenses were long, narrow, and sharp. If it weren't for the nearly solidified black yin energy surrounding her, and the item placed on her desk, a human heart specimen that was still faintly beating, she would have looked just like a cold, elegant female doctor. Oh, a new doctor? The female dean raised her head and pushed up her glasses. Her voice was cold with a hint of laziness. Coming to report on your work this late? Talk about dedicated, she muttered, her gaze sweeping across the room. She glanced at Lin Feng's doctor ID tag, then looked him up and down again. Seeing the 10 soul-hooking chains floating around him, her lips curled into a playful, mocking smirk. But don't you think bringing so many medical tools to see me makes you look a bit tense? Lin Feng stepped into the office and closed the door behind him. Click, the lock engaged automatically. I'm not here to report on my work, Lin Feng said, staring directly at the female director. His voice was calm. I'm here to ask you to move your workplace. The female director froze for a second, then burst out laughing. Move? To where? To a place that's far more suitable for you. As Lin Feng spoke, he flicked his right wrist. 3 soul-hooking chains shot out like striking vipers, lunging at the director from 3 different directions. They moved so fast they were nothing but blurs. Hey! The director gave a light chuckle, not even bothering to stand up. She simply raised her right hand and tapped the air with her index finger. A barrier of black yin energy instantly flared up, and the 3 chains slammed right into it. A series of sharp metallic clangs echoed through the room. After Zhao Rishan landed, he scanned the 9 people present. His gaze lingered on Lin Feng's group of 5 for a moment, and his brow furrowed slightly. Next to appear was a young couple. The guy looked to be in his early 20s, he wore glasses and had a very refined, gentle air. He was holding a thick book with a leather cover. Written on it in blood were the words Exorcist's Journal. A girl was huddling close in his arms. She was quite pretty, but her face was deathly pale. She gripped the boy's arm tightly, her body trembling slightly. The 4th person was a middle-aged man dressed in a sharp, well-tailored suit. He looked to be around 35 or 36, with his hair slicked back perfectly. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and carried a black briefcase. He looked like a typical business elite. Finally, the last one appeared. It was a seductive woman, roughly 25 or 26 years old. She wore a red slip dress with heavy makeup, showing off a very provocative figure. Between her fingers, she held a long, thin cigarette. The tip glowed with an eerie green light. Seeing that everyone had arrived, the bald brute, Zhao Rishan, was the first to speak, his voice as coarse as sandpaper. All right, don't just stand there gawking. Introduce yourselves. I need to know who's the real deal and who's just a waste of space. He grinned, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. He casually leaned his blood-stained ghost headblade against the ground. Zhao Rishan, C-rank player. This is my 7th time in a C-rank dungeon. He paused intentionally, his eyes scanning the crowd. With obvious pride, he added, first-tier exorcist, specializing in the blood fiend blade technique. As he finished, he noticed several surprised looks, which he clearly relished. The guy with glasses from the couple adjusted his frames. Chen Ming, he said respectfully. C-rank player. This is my second C rank run. And this is my girlfriend, Lu Xiaoyu. She's also C rank, it's her first time. He shook the leather-bound exorcism manual in his hand. I specialize in talismans, and Xiaoyu acts as my support. Lu Xiaoyu huddled into Chen Ming's arms, nodding timidly without saying a word. Li Mo, the man in the suit, pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and smiled. Li Mo, rank C, third run. He held a cushy, minor position in the Daybreak Guild. Number 7, love this home. As he mentioned the Daybreak Guild. Number 7, love this home. His tone remained remarkably flat. Number 7, love this home. But everyone knew the weight behind that name. Daybreak was one of the top 3 guilds in the Dragon Kingdom. Then it was the seductive woman's turn. She blew out a ring of eerie, emerald green smoke. She cast a flirtatious glance at Zhao Rishan. Lu Qingqing, rank C, third run. She swayed her slender, snake-like hips toward him, nearly pressing her body against Zhao Rishan's. Brother Zhao, this time, this little one is going to have to rely entirely on you for protection. Zhao Rishan let out a boisterous laugh. He reached out and pulled Lu Qingqing by the waist. Don't you worry, just follow me, Zhao Rishan. And I'll keep you safe. The two of them flirted shamelessly. Completely ignoring everyone else, the live comments section exploded. Holy crap, they're hooking up already? Already? Lu Qingqing is famous for clinging to any powerful man she can find. In the last dungeon, she clung to a rank C player, and when that guy got mangled by a ghost trying to save her, she just turned and bolted. And Zhao Rishan, that pervert, is going to get himself killed over a woman sooner or later. Just then, everyone's eyes turned toward Lin Feng's group of 5. Zhao Rishan let go of Lu Qingqing and squinted at them. His voice was dripping with impatience. What the hell are you lot stalling for? Hurry it up. Lei Zhen took a step forward. His voice was steady. Lei Zhen, rank D, first time in a rank C dungeon. Su Xiaowen said softly. Su Xiaowen, rank D, first time. Huang Chang puffed out his chest. Huang Chang, rank D, first time. Zhang Meng followed immediately. Zhang Meng, rank D, first time. 3 of them are only rank D? Zhao Rishan's brow furrowed into a knot. Li Mo adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses. His face flushed with an excitement he couldn't suppress. He hurried over to Lin Feng. His tone was so respectful it was almost sycophantic. Mr. Lin, it really is you. I've seen the recording of you clearing the abandoned hospital on the forums. An SSS rank evaluation. You wiped out the entire dungeon single-handedly. And, he paused for a moment. He lowered his voice to a whisper. You even tamed that director. Li Mo took a deep breath, trying his best to calm himself down. But the fervor in his eyes didn't fade for a second. Mr. Lin, I'm an external affairs deacon for the Daybreak Guild. After our guild leader saw your video, he personally stated that as long as you are willing to join Daybreak, you can name your own price. He began counting on his fingers. Any 3 rank accursed tools of your choice, a monthly base allowance of 100,000 ghost coins. Full access to all the guild's dungeon guides and intel, and we'll even assemble an elite squad specifically for you. All our resources are at your disposal, as long as you give us the nod. The position of Vice President of the Dawn Guild is vacant and waiting for you. As soon as those words were spoken, the entire scene fell into a sudden, heavy silence. The smirk on Zhao Rishan's face froze, and Lu Qingqing's fingers, which had been idly tracing circles, stopped dead. Chen Ming and Lu Xiaoyu's eyes went wide, their mouths hanging open far enough to fit an egg inside. Meanwhile, Lei Zhen and his 3 companions just had that. Business as usual, don't overreact. Look, they were already used to this. The boss being headhunted by some top-tier guild? That was just another day for them. The livestream viewers hit 48,912, and the chat exploded once again. Holy crap, Vice President of the Dawn Guild? And 3A rank ghost artifacts? 100,000 ghost coins a month. Man, I'm so salty right now. Dawn is one of the top 3 guilds in the Dragon Kingdom. Their vice president has a status comparable to the heads of mid-sized families. Black Robe Boss is an absolute beast. Zhao Rishan's face has turned completely green, haha. And indeed, Zhao Rishan's face was looking quite sickly. He had joined a small guild and fought tooth and nail just to claw his way up to being an elite member. He had to be humble and grateful for a mere 3,000 ghost coins a month, yet this D-rank rookie he looked down on was being offered such a staggering deal by the Dawn Guild. The vice president position was just sitting there, waiting for him. Based on what? Li Mo. Zhao Rishan couldn't help but snap, his voice trembling with suppressed rage. Are you sure you haven't made a mistake? He's just a D-rank player. Is he really worth Dawn trying this hard to recruit him? Li Mo turned his head. He gave Zhao Rishan a single look, his gaze calm but carrying a faint, unmistakable trace of contempt. Brother Zhao, Mr. Lin's strength isn't something that can be measured by a simple rank on a profile. He paused for a moment before adding. If you had actually watched the footage from the abandoned hospital, you wouldn't be asking such a stupid question. Zhao Rishan was left speechless, choked by the remark. He really hadn't watched the video. Lu Qingqing's eyes flickered, and she suddenly let out a soft, playful giggle. Deacon Li, you couldn't possibly have the wrong person, could you? She swayed her hips as she walked up to Lin Feng, eyeing him up and down with intense scrutiny. Her gaze lingered for a moment on his profound yin robe, a flash of pure jealousy darting through her eyes. But her tone remained flippant as she spoke. This little brother here is certainly handsome enough, and he's dressed quite well too. But to say he's the big shot who's soloed a D+ rank dungeon. She shook her head, her face practically screaming that she didn't believe a word of it. Lin Feng finally lifted his eyelids and spared Lu Qingqing a single glance. His gaze was as indifferent as if he were looking at a common stone. Then, he turned back to Li Mo. He spoke calmly, I appreciate the Dawn Guild's generous offer. I really do. However, he paused. His voice remained completely flat, without a hint of emotion. I have no intention of joining any guild for the time being. Silence. A deathly, crushing silence. Even the wind seemed to have stopped blowing. Li Mo was stunned. Zhao Rishan and Lu Qingqing were frozen, and Chen Ming and Lu Xiaoyu were even more dumbfounded. He rejected it? He turned down the vice president position of the Dawn Guild? The A-rank artifacts? The 100,000 ghost coins every month? He just brushed it all off like it was nothing. The livestream viewers reached 61,234. The chat was going absolutely insane. He rejected it. He actually said no. Black Robe Boss is like, nah, not interested. The president of Dawn must be spitting blood right about now. Now that's what I call class. Treating fame and fortune like they're nothing. I bet the boss thinks the Daybreak Guild is way too small a pond to hold a big fish like him. Hey, you above me. Daybreak is already one of the top 3 guilds in the Dragon Kingdom. If they're too small, could he be from one of those hidden clans? It's definitely possible. Li Mo was the first to snap out of it. A flicker of disappointment crossed his face. But he quickly masked it, remaining as respectful as ever. Mr. Lin, since you aren't interested for now, Daybreak's doors will always be open to you. Here is my card, if you ever need anything at all. Don't hesitate to reach out. He handed over a black metal card. It was engraved with the word, Daybreak, and intricate runes. Lin Feng took it. And casually tossed it into his yin storage ring. Only then did Lu Qingqing finally snap out of her shock. She stared at Lin Feng with a messy mix of emotions, jealousy, resentment, and above all, pure frustration. She had just been mocking him for being a total rookie, but then, in the blink of an eye, he went and rejected the position of Vice Guild Master at Daybreak. Talk about a slap in the face. That's gotta hurt. Chapter 44. The Ghost Master. Merry Christmas, everyone. HMPH. Lu Qingqing let out a cold snort, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Some people, they just don't know their place, do they? As she spoke, she snuggled back into Zhao Rishan's arms. Zhao, let's just ignore them. Some people just love acting all high and mighty. But once we're inside that dungeon, they'll be the ones crying. Zhao Rishan's face was dark. He glared at Lin Feng for a few seconds, then suddenly a grin spread across his face. Fine, you've got guts. I just hope that once we're inside that hotel, your bones are just as tough as your attitude. He turned his back on Lin Feng. Wrapping his arm around Lu Qingqing, he started walking toward the hotel. En Ming and Lu Xiaoyu traded a look, hesitating for a brief moment. But they gave Lin Feng a quick nod before hurrying to catch up. Li Mo gave Lin Feng an apologetic smile and followed the group. Now, only Lin Feng's group of 5 remained. Boss. Huang Chang leaned in and whispered, that Zhao guy, seems like he's got a real problem with us. You want me to? He made a sharp cutting motion across his throat. Lin Feng shot him a glance. We're here to hunt spirits. Not to murder people. He paused for a beat. Then he added, of course. If he's hell-bent on dying, I don't mind giving him a little push. His voice was calm, but it sent a cold shiver straight down Huang Chang's spine. Lei Zhen spoke up in a heavy tone. Mr. Lin. This is a C-rank dungeon. According to the intel, there's at least one C-rank entity inside. Maybe even more. We need to come up with a plan. A plan? Lin Feng chuckled, his eyes fixed on the dark, blood-red hotel. The plan is simple. We go in. And we take it. He spoke as if it were the easiest thing in the world. As if she were just talking about buying a head of cabbage at the market, Su Xiaowin asked timidly. Mr. Lin, what about the other players? Them, Lin Feng thought for a moment. If they don't get in the way, just let them fend for themselves. But if they do, he didn't finish his sentence. But the meaning was crystal clear. Zhang Meng gripped his evil breaking blade tightly. His gaze was resolute. Mr. Lin. I'll follow your lead. Lin Feng nodded. He looked at the yin storing ring on his left ring finger and focused his mind. A flash of black light shot out from the ring and landed on the ground. It transformed into Bai Wei's figure. She was still wearing that white mysterious yin robe. Her black hair was pinned up with an ebony hairpin, and her eyes behind those gold-rimmed glasses were cold and calm. Only now, she held a brand new soul-hooking chain in her hand. And hanging at her waist was the talisman that Lin Feng had given her. Her aura was ethereal, like a goddess under the moonlight. The livestream viewer count hit 78,923. The comments section was instantly flooded with the word, beautiful. The director is definitely the director. This outfit is absolutely fire. That white robe with the gold-rimmed glasses. A total ice queen goddess. Nonsense, she should be wearing black stockings. The guy above me is shallow. White robes and white stockings are the only way to go. Nude stockings. It has to be nude stockings. That's enough, you guys. This is a horror instance, not a fashion show. But the director is seriously gorgeous, even though she's a C-rank ghost. How can a ghost have more class than a living person? That big shot in the black robe has killer taste. Zhao Rishan and Lu Qingqing hadn't gone far yet. Hearing the noise, they turned around to look. They were instantly stunned. 7. Love this home. He's a ghost master. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. 7. Love this home. Zhao Rishan's eyes narrowed. Zhao Rishan's eyes narrowed. He knew that some players used various means to subdue ghosts and force them to fight. These players were known as ghost masters. Lu Qingqing, however, was consumed by jealousy. Her eyes turned red with envy. That robe Bai Wei wore, that aura, that face. TCH, Lu Qingqing said sourly. He just got lucky and signed a contract with some piece of trash ghost, that's all. Brother Zhao, you're a first-rank exorcist. If you really decided to make a move, you could wipe her out easily. She spoke loudly on purpose. She wanted Bai Wei to hear her. And Bai Wei certainly did. She slowly turned her head, her eyes behind the gold-rimmed glasses fixing on Lu Qingqing. Then, she smiled. It wasn't her usual cold, distant smile. It was the smile of the Qingshan Hospital director, 30% malice and 70% pure horror. What did you say? Bai Wei's voice was soft as she replied. Yet it made the surrounding temperature plummet. I'm trash? As the words left her lips, the ghostly energy around her body exploded with a bang. Her white robe fluttered despite the lack of wind, and her long black hair whipped around wildly. That cold, stunningly beautiful face, under everyone's terrified gazes, began to twist and deform. Her skin turned a bruised, sickly blackish green. Her mouth split open all the way to her ears, revealing a maw full of sharp, jagged fangs. Behind the gold-rimmed glasses, the whites of her eyes completely disappeared. Nothing remained but a deathly, ghastly pale, those originally slender fingers. Her nails grew long and ink black, dripping with a foul, stinking liquid. The terrifying pressure of a wrathful ghost was unleashed without any restraint. Roar. A shrill, agonizing ghostly howl. It shook the entire highway. Zhao Rishan's face turned white as a sheet. He instinctively backed up 2 steps. The ghost headblade in his hand hummed and vibrated. It was actually trembling in fear. Lu Qingqing let out a piercing scream. She collapsed onto the ground, her legs so weak she couldn't even stand. Chen Ming and Lu Xiaoyu clung to each other, shivering uncontrollably. Li Mo's pupils shrank as he muttered, AC rank anomaly. There were 102,347 people in the stream. The chat was absolutely losing it. Ha ha ha, Lu Qingqing is such a total idiot. Trash anomaly, huh? You call this trash? This pressure, I feel like I'm about to pee myself just watching through the screen. Wasn't Zhao Rishan acting all tough a second ago? Why is he acting like such a coward now? A rank 1 exorcist in front of a peak wrathful ghost is nothing but a little joke. The director is a legend. That transformation was so cool. A white robe with that demonic face is weirdly aesthetic. Bai Wei reached out with her pitch black claws. She pointed toward Lu Qingqing from a distance, her voice distorted and eerie. Didn't you just say you were going to destroy me? Lu Qingqing was scared out of her mind. She scrambled frantically behind Zhao Rishan, screaming at the top of her lungs. Zhao, help me, hurry and kill her. Zhao Rishan's face was grim. His hand gripped the ghost headblade so hard it was shaking. Fight, my ass, the pressure coming off her. was clearly that of a C-rank anomaly. If he actually tried to make a move, he probably wouldn't even last 3 hits. Enough. Right at that moment. The voice wasn't loud, yet it seemed to possess a strange, magical power. It instantly broke the stalemate. The dark energy around Bai Wei suddenly vanished. The demonic face and fangs faded, returning to that cold, stunningly beautiful face. She straightened her slightly messy hair and her robe, then bowed respectfully to Lin Feng. Understood, Mr. Lin, she said, putting on a perfectly sweet and obedient act.
是，林先生，摆出一脸乖巧的模样。